Welcome to EMT Radio. I hope you guys are doing well, are feeling great this morning. Um, it's a little dampy and droopy out, but high spirits. We all woke up this morning, thank God. Happy hump day, midweek, favorite part of the week. We're almost there, guys. Um, Hope you guys are staying safe, staying home, not listening to your president to go back to work, especially since there's still no money coming in. It's a bunch of craziness, guys. Craziness. In the meantime, everybody, please join us, email us, message us, whatever you like, whatever's more comfortable for you. You can find us on Facebook at EMT Radio. You can chat with us through emtradio.com. Hit the menu button, everybody. Also, send us an email. Any questions, opinions, anything you guys would love to talk about, we can talk about on the air at emtstreaming@gmail.com. Also, you can call and text us at 267-808-1200. So sorry. Apologies. First star. Also, don't forget your umbrellas today. It's very bad. It's really dampy outside. But it's Wednesday, so
Thank God
That's-
it's right?
it's hump day.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and happy today day.
Now it's happy hump day.
Hump day again?
Hump is Wednesday.
All right, it's Wednesday. All right. So, to everybody out there in Europe, in Canada, the US, the Middle East, we want to welcome you for another hump day.
Yes.
Is that what it is? A hump day?
Hump.
Hump day.
Yes, hump day.
And there's a lot of stuff to talk about these days. A lot. A lot of excitement out there. America happy going back to work. America happy they're gonna put more lives on the lines. And let's see. Let's see if it's a good idea or bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Well, it's a bad idea for me and you. Good idea for beautiful. Good idea for
The 1%?
the president number one. He's happy about it. And I just couldn't believe. I mean, I went through a lot of stuff of his speeches,
Okay.
and it's just like I don't know, like the guy, he's like acting like he's in a different planet, and the people and the virus on another planet.
Okay.
Like he's not part of this.
I get it.
And it's so weird the way how he puts stuff and he's looking to the camera, and he's not blinking.
Mm.
And he's not arguing, but he's trying to put in people's heads like this is what we have to do. What do you want us to do? We did a great job. We did this, we did that. And if you listen to his speech like one segment end of the time,
Mm-hmm.
all nonsense. All it's not the way it is out there.
Right.
And for him as a strong and a smart person, because don't tell me he's not smart, because I know he's smart. Trust me, he is smart. Smart in fucked up way. He should like find like different lines
To say.
to say.
Right.
He should find like something better, because I'll start you from the end of what I heard. What do you tell to those people they lost their lives in Vietnam, in this, in that? And he said, I want to tell them I love you. Are you fucking serious?
You don't give two shits about them.
Doesn't give a fuck about them.
Right.
He might does not know anything about what's happened.
Right.
And plus, that's not what they want. They don't want your love.
No. They
They're
don't.
done. They're dead. They need you to pray for them.
Right.
They need you to might say something has to do with whatever. Prayer, salt. God bless them. God this, God that. I don't want you to say that you love them because you don't.
Right.
You don't know them. You never met them. You don't love shit.
Right.
That's my opinion. And he's telling the people he's going back again to the economy. We had the greatest economy and we had the greatest unemployment numbers. And I'm going to tell you, America, you had a lot of work and nobody making any money. I'm going to tell you, America, you got out of the welfare and you put yourself in a working welfare. And I'm going to tell you, America, you are the greatest country in the world. I am not going to doubt that. But if you think a little bit deeper, you are not. Yep, you are not. Because when you tell to the American people and the world, we are the greatest country in the world, we need to see it. We need to feel it. And when you feel it in the good days, but you want to feel it better in the bad days. That will make you the greatest country in the world because the world is suffering 100% and the greatest country in the world suffering maybe only 50%. But the way I see it today, the greatest country in the world doesn't seem like it's the greatest country in the world. I'm going to explain it to you. Let's start with the good days. Do you have a free education? No, you don't. Europe does.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Europe, they do have free education. And that's just something in Europe, people from other countries,
Okay.
foreigners, they come into Europe and they go to school for free.
Nice.
Yes.
That's nice. That's helping.
That's what we're talking about, the greatest country in the world.
Right. Right.
And I'll tell you something, how come you are in the greatest country in the world and after you graduate, you have $100,000 of student loan on your back before you start making any money? How great is that?
Right.
And if you don't have 100, you might have 50. So what kind of job you gonna get when you have $50,000 student loan? It's gonna pay that loan in 1 year. What kind of job you think you're gonna get when you spend only $50,000 on your education? So let's talk about the 100,000. It's the same thing. What's the job you're gonna get? It's gonna be you're gonna have enough money to pay it because you take a student loan maybe in 4 years and you pay it in 20 years, in 10 years, which you're working for that student loan at all the time. And some people, their student loans stuck with them for generations. They couldn't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is number one. Education is the most important thing in this country. And guess what? I am not going to talk about universities. Let's start from the bottom up. How many schools in this country, they're in poverty? How many schools in this country, they don't have the necessary basic stuff. Basic. They don't have. So how many schools, they had to send them home because it's too hot. Are we sitting in the desert in Africa? We can't afford AC in schools. Are we in the center of the desert? We have to send people home because it's too hot. So what happened to the greatest country in the world? What happened to it? Every city you go to, we have a ton and ton and ton of homelessness. The number's going up, by the way, it's not going down. And a lot of politicians, they're talking about homelessness, thinking we have an issue. Yes, you created the issue. And how did you create the issue? I'll explain it to you if you don't know. See, when you wake up in the morning and you pull from your ass, you want to raise taxes? That's what happened. Because when you raise taxes, the renters or the homeowners, their mortgage go up or the rents go up because you push on the taxes. And guess what? This is on all over the country. People, they have no choice but to move the fuck out of the house, live in their cars like what's happened in Virginia, live in their cars like what's happened in LA, live in their cars like what's happened in Philadelphia, in Maryland, you name it. It's everywhere. I mean, you causing the poverty. Instead of helping, you are making it worse. And why are you making it worse? Keep in mind, you are making the gap of the poor getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's number one. You tell me, what is this greatest country you're talking about? What is it? And the problem is, we're helping a lot of people all over the world, sending 450 million to Ukraine, 20 million to this, 5 million to that, 2 million to this. If we can't take care of our issues here, I don't think it's a good idea to give anything to anybody. Because if you are a small family and you have kids, I guarantee you none of us will cut the food from his kids, starving them, and give it to the next door neighbor to feed their kids and be powerful. It's not happening.
Right.
Yep, it's not happening.
No, it's not happening.
There is no fucking way you're gonna give your food and your money to your next door neighbor, the one you worked very hard for it, and your neighbor, he's not doing anything, sit his ass home, and he's taking the money from you. You're not gonna do it.
Right.
What is the same thing? A small family, a big country, same thing. And all these people we are helping, they're corrupt people. You know it, I know it, she knows it, everybody knows this shit. We're helping corrupt countries instead of picking up our people off the ground. Instead of standing with the people they paid so much taxes in generations before. So you tell me, how great are we? So we were just talking about education, we didn't go anywhere else. Yep. Yes, kids, they have nothing to eat. They don't have, listen, why are you feeding kids at school? You're feeding kids at school because you knew they didn't have money at home.
At home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if they do have money at home, they will not be eating at school. They will only be getting snacks.
Yeah.
But you're feeding them because you knew they don't have money. And if you knew their families, they don't have money, why you don't step up and start investing in these people first before we go outside the country? And these third world countries and these good countries we are helping, they don't need cash, believe me. I'll tell you what they need. They need used equipment. The one we're done with, we don't need anymore. They need consultants, free consultants, because they don't know what to do. They need guidance, and they need training. That's what we can offer, and we can help them to go very far, because most of these countries, they got a lot of resources. A lot of resources. Some of them, they have gold. Some of them, they have gas. Some of them, they have phosphate. Some of them, they have agriculture. Some of them, they have a lot of treasure you don't know about, and they don't know about. How about we explain to them, you need to invest the money you have first in you, because you're wasting it right and left. That's why you're asking for your help, for our help. And I'm going to tell you, don't think I don't see the big picture. Don't think I don't understand. We need to keep these people on the leash. I know. Trust me, I know. But it is a lot of ways to keep them on the leash. There's a lot of ways. You can go and start putting sections on these people if they don't treat the people correctly and spend the money correctly. Tell them we're not going to do business with you. Tell you learn how to do business with you. We are not going to do business with you. Tell you know how to spend your money very carefully. And that's how we fix the problem. And we keep our money here. So if we're talking about we are the greatest country in the world, why we don't have free healthcare? Europe does. Yes.
You're
Canada.
free stuff.
Canada, they do have.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes, Canada they do have. And I'll tell you something else. You might not believe it. I guess they were bringing some people to Congress asking them why we pay in HIV medicine $2,000 or maybe $1,500, and in Canada it's cost $80.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
Some medicine for
Okay.
AIDS
Okay.
in the state costs $2,000. You cross the border to Canada is $80. That was in Congress. It's not my words. Yes, almost $1,400 difference
Yes.
on the medicine.
That's a big jump.
So what is the greatest country? What is greatest country about? Europe, you have a card. You go and see the doctor.
That's it.
You have a card. You go and get your medicine.
And no cost.
No cost. Seriously, they have a better healthcare system than America, the greatest country in the world.
Oh.
And they have less money than America, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're gonna tell me about the greatest country in the world? People, they can get sick. People, if they're sick, they're panicked. People, if they have kids getting sick, they get panicked because they might go to the emergency room for free, but they need to follow with the treatment.
Hmm.
Yes. So, what is this greatest country in the world? What am I missing here? I just want to know what I am missing. Do I am missing something? Please. I want you to explain it to me. It's a shame when Americans, they cannot go see the doctor the way they want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame when people get sick, they get sicker because they think about how to pay for the medical bills. So this is number 2. We are the greatest country in the world and we have more homelesses than everybody, I guess. Look at LA. LA is like a disaster. LA is like a joke. And you know what is the problem? I'll tell you what is the problem. LA is the worst, is the most expensive city. LA generates a lot of money. So why they couldn't help the people? Maryland, same issue. Virginia, people sleeping in a park. They have a park gated with cars and people goes and they have kitchen in there. They have bathroom, they use all of them, a shower, they use all of them, and they sleep in their cars. And I'm not talking about 1 and 2. I'm talking about a lot of people.
I can imagine.
Yes, I'm not including the one they sleep in the street. Yes, this is only a group of people which don't forget. These people, they have jobs.
Okay. And they can't afford
They
it.
can't afford to live in a home. They have jobs. One, she's a cleaning lady. One, he's a computer something. One, he's a security guard. And can you imagine you're working and you're coming back and sleeping in the fucking park, in your car? You sleep in your car for days and months.
That's bad.
Yes, and people bring you help, which bringing you food sometimes to the park and bringing you these donations and this and that. And what happened to the greatest country in the world can take care of their own people? So you tell me we are in the greatest country in the world, that's fine. What happened to the housing? Why they could not help these people get them housing? Why? We're building high rises every single day. We're demolishing buildings every single day. Why the cities, they cannot invest in this Old buildings nobody wants, clean them, fix them, and pass them to an association can use them as a shelter and keep people inside the home. Why? So you're gonna keep telling me we are the greatest country in the world, so why we are not good take care of our people? Why the people is getting hurt every single day and is getting worse every single day? So this greatest country in the world I'm talking about right now is in the good days. I'm not talking about the bad days because I'm coming to it. We're talking about the good days. Everybody got a job. Everybody got to work. Got to go to work. The stock market, they're up like unbelievable. Airlines are in the air. Everybody is making a lot of money. The unemployment is down, and this shit is happening. It doesn't make any sense. Are you still thinking like we are in the greatest country in the world? In the good days, the bankers, they're robbing us right and left. You want to cash a check, $7.50. You want to open a bank account, they open it for you. Next thing you notice, bam, fees. Bam, penalties. Not to mention if you want to buy a home or a car, they will rob you. They will rob you. And they will rob you with the smile, and they will rob you when you are watching because they distract you, because they get you motivated, and they make you feel like you're very important. You're buying a house, it's a big deal. This is a big investment. Yeah, of course it's a big investment because you're the one who's making this big investment. Making all these fees, making all this stupid shit, and they don't, consumer doesn't need. And when you buy a car, it's the same thing. They know you need a car. They know you are so excited, you want it so bad. And they will fuck you up as much as they can. And you are watching. So tell me what I'm missing here. Tell me what I'm missing here. Because I went to buy a car, and that's what I was told. Your score is 620, and the interest rate is going to be higher. I said, no, my score is not a 620. How about you put me on the phone with the banker because I want to curse him out. My score is 740. No, I said, no, my score is 740. And I'll pull it for you right now. That guy's a thief, and you guys do this stuff to a lot of people. It's not going to happen today. That's how they rob you. They always come up with a thing where to get you distracted. They know you are very excited. You can't go with the car. But guess what? That day, they met the wrong guy. I don't give a fuck about that car. So if we are great, why are we screwing each other? If we are the best country in the world, why we are not following the laws and the rules? Why when we come to money, we are not the best country in the world? Why we are different? Why we are like scumbags, screwing each other? So let me tell you about the greatest country in the bad days. And I want you to ask yourself this question. How great are we? So now, this COVID-19 came from nowhere. From nowhere. Nobody have any idea what to do with it, how to handle it. It's a huge deal. We all understand that part. But keep in mind, we've been working for the government for years and years and years and years and years. And when time comes for them to work for us few months, they couldn't. They put us through hell. As of today, we still have a lot of people, they didn't get their stimulus check. But they got something. They got a letter from the IRS. And what the letter said, you tell me. I want you to say that because it came to you.
It says, it came from, obviously President Donald Trump, he signed it at the bottom. It basically said, like, thank you, they're taking care of us during this pandemic due to COVID-19. We're sending you a stimulus check, and this amount. Basically, briefly explaining the whole situation going on with the coronavirus right now, and how they came to the decision to send every American a certain amount of money. Yeah, I got the letter before I have gotten the check.
So question for you, is that letter paid any of your bills?
No.
Can you use it in the supermarket?
No.
Can you pay your rent with it?
No.
So what's good, and what day today? What day today?
Today's the 6th
6th of what?
of May.
Of May.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We closed the country on March the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
6th of May, people still getting letters of apology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, apology, we accept it, that's fine, no big fucking deal. What is the check?
Right.
How these people supposed to survive in the greatest country in the world? If this is a great country, these people, they should get to check in the same freaking week when they stopped working. This business going on right now with the checks and the business loans, this has happened in the third world countries. And I guarantee you, because I knew, I talked to people, third world countries, they got checks.
Yeah.
They did, yes. Believe me, they did. And they got checks long time ago.
That's messed up.
Yes, that's very fucking messed up.
Yeah, Americans that have been dead for the past few years
Mhm.
receive money.
I know, that's embarrassing. I don't know if you know, watching this video, the people that have been dead for generations, they receive the stimulus check. Can you imagine they don't need it? They're dead. And they got the check. And the people that are in so need, they didn't get the check. So I want you to think again. Do you live in the greatest country in the world? So let me talk about that now, right now. When you see pictures, people on the line waiting for miles and miles to get box of food to feed you for 5 days. If you see the pictures and you compare them to another pictures, you cannot tell what is the US, what is Europe, and what is Africa. They all look the same. People standing on a long line trying to collect food. Now, you tell me, the hard-working American, and they worked very hard for years. Now the food become an issue in 2020. Is the food, it's your problem today? And when I said, is the food your problem, I mean Republican and Democrat. Because it is Democrat and Republican in those lines waiting for the food. This means just for you to understand, this is not about politics. I'm not talking about politics here. I'm talking about principle. I'm talking about what's good for the American people. And it's an embarrassment for the government and the American people. But it looks like the government are not embarrassed. Seriously, it looks like the government, they don't even care. They don't even know what's going on. Only me and you, we care and seeing this shit we don't like. And how many of you is standing on the line trying to collect 5 days worth of food, not happy about it? Well, let me tell you something. When you get a box of food for 5 days, You're not gonna get that food and put it on the table. You need to cook it. You need meat with it. You need juice with it. You need bread with it. You need to cook it. And the problem when you have the same amount of money given to a ton of people, not every family is the same. Some families they have 2 kids, some have families they have 4 kids, and some families they have 6 kids, and some families they have 9 kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So by you getting 1 box worth of the food for 5 days, it's not fair to you. And by the government will dictate what you eat today and tomorrow and to next week, it's not fair to you. Okay? They need to give you your money on time and you go and you buy your own food with a pride. And you know what's making it look really bad? You standing on a line for miles and miles and miles waiting to get box of food. If they would deliver to your doorstep, it would look better. At least the government could take care of the people delivering their food to their doorstep. And you don't have to be sitting over there like the really poor guy who doesn't have a job for 5 years, or a homeless or something, or somebody who did not work that hard for like too many years. And why I'm saying the hard-working people, because you see, the lines, they have a very nice cars. And that will tell you one thing, they have a good jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they had a good jobs. And they're waiting for food. Why? Because the government never sent them their check on time. And if we're talking about the check, how much are we talking about? $1,200? Is $1,200 going to do anything to you from March 15 till today, till tomorrow, and we're still not back to work, by the way? What $1,200 will do to you? Will do nothing, especially if you have a big family. Plus, what you're going to do with $1,200? Are you going to pay rent? Are you going to pay your bills? Are you going to pay your car payment? Are you going to pay food, to buy food with it? What are you going to do with the $1,200? So if we are in the greatest country in the world, I just want to be treated better, especially in the bad days. Because the good days, don't tell me we are in the greatest country in the world, because still we're not, but we are way better than what we have in today. But I want to see it, I want to feel it on the good days. On the bad days, I'm sorry. I want to feel it on the bad days. That's mean America. You gotta rethink. After this crisis, you gotta rethink. And the list is so long, we're not done yet. Seriously, we're not done yet. So we're talking about the checks, and we're talking about the people not being treated correctly. We're talking about all this stuff. So let me tell you about the other step. The small business loan. The small business loan, you hear about it on every single local channel. It comes through your mail. It comes through your email. It comes through Facebook. It comes through everywhere there is a small business loan for people. Well, I have some news for you. A lot of small business people, they got zero. And they're not getting anything, just to let you know. And why? For a simple reason. Because the greatest country in the world we live in, they did not make the rules before they allowed the loan. They allowed the big sharks, the big companies, to get a huge chunk of it, which they don't need it, because a lot of companies, they're multi-million-dollar companies. So I mean, they're the one that got the loan first. And then whatever left is for the small business. Guess what? Less than two weeks, I don't think so even went that far. In a very short period of time, the money ran out. And why the money ran out? I'll tell you why. For a simple reason. Because it was not a small business loan who took 10,000, 50,000, 40,000, 25,000. No. It did run out because this big corporate, some of them, they took $75 million. Seriously, they took a radio channel, they took $75 million. Art Gallery, Kennedy Art Gallery in Washington, D.C. took $25 million. This is $100 million right there. Look how many small business can benefit from this. $100 million. 2 people. So, and then the list will get worse. It is a food chain, they took what, 10 million or 15 million?
10.
A food chain took 10 million. A multi-million company took 8 million. Harvard University took 8 million. And some other companies that are being traded in Wall Street, they took millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's why they opened for them the golf course 2 days ago to go enjoy that money they took from the little guy. See how great this country is? Always good to take care of the big people first, and then they come to the bottom. And if it's not left for the bottom, who cares? So if we are the best and the greatest country in the world, we should start taking it from the bottom. Because there is people today, they don't have money in their bank account. They run out of saving. No more savings. Okay? No more savings. And that was in news. That's not my words, by the way. That was in news. Lady, she ran out of her money. She didn't get her check. She called the unemployment. She called whatever she called. They said, listen, we wish we can help you. We can't. You just have to wait. How the fuck this lady? She's going to wait if she got kids. What she is going to do today? If she have 5 kids, is she going to say to her kids, can you please be patient, baby? Don't eat today. We're gonna eat tomorrow. Is she going to knock on her next door neighbors and embarrass herself for food? Is she need to go to a fucking shelter to collect food because this freaking check didn't come in the mail? So you tell me, this greatest country we're living in, what's happened to it in the good days and the bad days? So I just want to know, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. And the worst part about all this, people, they're protesting, they want to go back to work. And I keep telling you guys, this is the wrong protest. You should be protesting what's happened to the $2.3 billion we got, $1 trillion we got the first time. What's happened to the second stimulus plan came in the second time. That's what you need to be protesting. You need to protest to ask this big corporate to give the money back to the government. That's why the little guy can benefit from it. Because people are going to lose their jobs, they're going to lose their businesses, they're going to lose their homes, they're going to lose their cars, they're going to destroy their lives. Why? Because the 1% so greedy, and the government give them a green light to screw the little guy. And I'll tell you something, the government will not do anything for you as a little guy to bring that money for you. They're just saying it in news, hey, you need to bring that money back. And guess what? The other people saying, oh no, we are not bringing it back because we fell in, we do fall in that category as a small business, and we didn't do anything wrong. Yes, it's true. They didn't do anything wrong, because the wrongdoing was from the government. What they should have done, if your company passed in $1 million, you need to wait. Let's take care of the guy who got only a $250,000 business. Let's take care of the small business who got a store, has a rent, has electricity, has water, has gas. The owner got his own rent, his own bills, his own food. The fuck he's gonna do that? Or only the government good on collecting taxes from these people, the small businesses, every single day, every single year, pay for this, this is for this, this is for that, this is for that. Now when the shit hit the fan, the small business owner on their own. Does that make any sense? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Because if you believe in a small business, the bone of the economy, why you did not feed that bone? That's why the bone will not break into pieces. Why you did not go take care of that bone and give the people the money they deserve? Because nobody here asking for handouts, because you're not giving us anything for free. This is a taxpayer money, worked very hard for it for years and generations, and now is the time to give them a tiny bit from whatever they have done for generations to this country. And you are not as a government. It's a shame on the people who's running the show. And a shame on those people because they got stuck. There is no money on the federal level. There is no money on the city level, state level. Money's gone. Now what they said, oh, let's raise taxes. Are you fucking serious? Let's raise taxes? That's it? You cannot see the big picture? You cannot see outside the box? You see only the taxpayer pocket now? Let's raise the taxes? How about I tell you this? First of all, you are not smart enough to think people they didn't got back to work yet. People they don't even know if they're going back to work or not. People they don't have any money right now. And you didn't do anything for them. And now you're asking to pay more taxes? Are you even hearing yourself? Can you hear yourself? Because I don't think so. What you have done for these people to pay you tax again? Tell me one thing you have done. Homeless, you did not test till a week ago. And then somebody thought about the homeless. We've been saying this for generations. The homeless, they need to be taken care of. The homeless, they were not fed because they were fed by association. They were fed by people. The homeless, they're suffering big time because not many people out there to take care of them. The restaurants are closed. So you're asking us for more taxes? You gotta be fucking kidding me. And I'll tell you something, you ask for more taxes in this situation, being right now, which you cannot help yourself because you broke. What make you think the people, they got money to give you for tax to spend right and left and destroy? And I'll tell you something, a lot of cities are asking to raise taxes today. That's the wrong move because I'll tell you something, if you want to make money and save money, start from your own home first. It is light on the street. And if you don't believe me, you can open your eyes by yourself. It is light on the street on 24 hours for months and years. I've been watching it. And it's posted on our EMT Radio Facebook page. I've been watching it. There is potholes that are being fixed in 2 days, they're broke in the third day, on the fourth day. It's on our Facebook page. It is a lot of overtime people getting paid for not doing anything. It is a lot of city cars being used for personal. What's that mean? You're wasting the gas money, you're wasting tires, you're wasting on the maintenance, you're breaking that car more often, your insurance is too high because too many mileage, and the government and the city not benefiting from that, only you. And who's paying for this is the taxpayer. And what I'm telling you today, it's only 4 elements what we can see. I'm not going to talk about how many papers you get in the mail, how many envelope, how many letter, how many this stuff, how much printer we use of cartridge to print this stuff for whole city. I'm not going to go to that because that's a huge number. The city should take care of it a long time ago. And me and you, we're not going to know more issues in the city because we don't work there. But if you talk to the City people, they will tell you what is the issues and what is the problem. And one time I was going to the court, believe it or not, the water was running for 1 week. 1 week in one of the bathrooms. Nobody fixed it. And why they should fix it? It's not their money. It's not their money. It's your money and mine. We're the ones who care about this. For them, they have a blank check. They can write whatever amount they want, anytime they want. It's not their problem because they know the money is coming in. And that's the problem we have in most of the cities. And the states, by the way, because you see the light is in the highways is on for 24/7 for days. This means before you ask me for taxes, to raise taxes because you get stuck, because you're not thinking, because you were not born for this, and because you're not a street smart, just a book smart maybe, you're not doing a great job for the city. You're just going to bring more homelessness to the city. You're going to bring more crimes to the city because you're forcing it. And if we live in the greatest country in the world, why all this shit is happening? So what is the worst country in the world for you? What is it? I am thinking, or what I am seeing, we live in the greatest country in the world is a phrase. Selling it to you, selling it to me, to wake up in the morning and think we are in the greatest country in the world. But if you dig deeper, we're not. If you dig deeper, the shit is surrounding us from everywhere. Everywhere. This means, again, this is not for Democrat and the Republican, this is for everybody. It's a phrase being used at elections. It's a phrase being used as when the shit hit the fan and they need the people to stand up and help the government, which is nothing wrong with that. But they use it just to build you up. But when you needed to see it, they don't have it to deliver it for you. They don't have nothing to deliver for you as the greatest country in the world. So I want to know if I'm missing something, because I don't think so I'm missing anything here. And now they're telling us we all in this together. I believe in that in the beginning. I did. Believe it or not, I did. Because it is our responsibility and their responsibility. If we both work together, we're going to be perfectly fine. I did believe in that. And the reason why I believed it the most, because a lot of politicians, they get sick. A lot of politicians, they got sick worldwide. But I noticed one thing. None of these politicians died. I don't know if you're watching the show with me or not. None of these politicians died. That's telling me one thing. They do have a better health care, and you don't. They're in better place, and you don't. Because what's Swedish now? 250,000 passed away worldwide? Worldwide, we passed in the 250,000. But on the politicians, they got sick worldwide. I think one person died. He's in the third. I think he's in the third world countries. I think.
He died?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This means you have to ask yourself, what's going on? Something is not right. So when we got to the middle of this, I start noticing we are not in this all together. I noticed that, and I'll tell you why. Because when it comes to who's going to work for essentials, you see only the hard-working Americans in the stores. The CEOs, CFOs, general manager, COOs, all these people, they're hiding in their homes, protecting themselves. They don't go out. They act like they're the smartest one in the room, which they are. Don't get me wrong, they are. They stayed home. Whoever had a home somewhere, nowhere, he went to it. He packed up his food for like 6 months. because he doesn't have a problem with that. And he's talking to his employees over the phone. And the proof is Amazon. Because of the whistleblower, we know what's going on in Amazon warehouses today. We did not know before. The reason why, because nobody said anything. Jeff Bezos is not, or I'm not going to talk about Jeff Bezos because he's the owner. But he's COO, CFO, COO, CEE, COO, CRR, whatever it is. The higher management, they're not on the ground to check on the little guy because they don't care. That's telling you we are on this separate. They have their own way to deal with it, not to be in the street, not to work, not to do anything. And the poor guy, he gotta get his ass to work and touch the virus and do whatever he has to do to survive. So the other thing why I think we are in this separate right now, this is why. The 1% and the people they own multi-million-dollar companies, they got the loan first. The person who owned $100,000, $200,000 business, he got zero. And when you ask the government for the money, when you call the SBA, when you go to the bank, say, listen, there is no money, you just have to wait. What the fuck am I gonna wait? Wait for what? Wait for what? Is tomorrow is gonna rain dollars? If you don't give that money to business loan, these businesses, they're gonna go down, they're gonna close, they're gonna shut the fuck down. This means when they took the money first, they left zero to the people. It showed you one thing, and one thing only. You are on this alone. We're only in this together when the virus situation, it's affecting all of us because it affected their pocket, affected our pocket, but we're the most hurt. But the good thing of this epidemic, which is the loan and the money, we are separate. We didn't split correctly. They robbed the small business people. And guess what? If I was in the government, I make sure people get their stimulus check before anybody else, before we're giving any loans to anyone. So that being said, I want you to rethink and stop focusing. You need to go back to work. You need to understand what happened to the money. You need to understand what brings you to this situation. You need to understand why you are in the line collecting food like you are in Africa. You need to understand what makes it worse today. And I guarantee you, the politicians you voted for, Republican and Democrat, they're the one they screw you today. They're the one that are not out there asking for you. Did you get your money? Knocking on doors like the election. They spent so much money in the election because they needed your votes. Why they couldn't spend so much money right now and time asking from street to street, from zip code to zip code, where is the people that are hurting the most? Why they're not doing it? And I'm talking about city council, state representative, governors, mayors, senators. Why they're not doing it? Why they're not walking in the street like when they want the vote? Why? This is a very bad time. This is a very ugly time. That's when you need them to come out and ask you questions. So what's happened to those pictures they were taken in the good days because they need your votes? Why didn't you come out today and take pictures with you to show you we are here supporting you in the bad days too? This means if you want to listen to me, if you are a Republican, stop fighting the Democrat. And if you are a Democrat, this is the time when you need to stop fighting the Republican. We need to get together, Republican and Democrat, for one thing, for the American flag, for the country, for us. What you're doing, it's only working for them. The more you are distracted on what happened to that money and why we are here, is the better for them. They know you are an idiot. They know you are not going to do anything about it going forward, and they're going to keep beating on you. And no one will save you from this, only you. I guarantee that. No one will save you from this, only you. And guess what? If you think I'm wrong, or if you think I'm saying whatever and whatever and whatever, please put your comments out there. Please email me. Email me. emtstreaming@gmail.com. Tell me, listen, you're wrong. Please call me 267-808-1200. Tell me, Adam, you are missing the point. The America is great. And tell me this is what you're not seeing. Because I would like you to correct me if I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I will go back and apologize. I am man enough to apologize. Please, stop fighting each other. This is the only time we need to get together and fight against the 1% who's robbing us day, night, good days, bad days, and we only the one paying the price. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for being with us today. Have a blessed day. Have a safe day. You give us 5 minutes, we'll give you some music.